People of Reddit who knew celebrities before they were famous, how different do they act now? I can't remember before my aunt was famous. Alex Kingston played River Song in Doctor Who. But I remember going to her wedding and meeting Matt Smith, who played the Doctor in Doctor Who, and him fixing my flip-flop. The best moment of my life ever. You're Alex Kingston's niece, nephew? That's awesome. I've never seen her in a role in which I didn't instantly love her ever since her. And I was very excited when I learned she'd be River Song because I knew she'd make things interesting. Wonderful actress. And one of my favorites. Greater than niece, nephew, the word is nibbling, make it happen. My mom knew Seal as far back as when he was still trying to be an architect. And she says he was always really nice. They didn't stay in touch. She moved away and they were never close. But she said he went out of his way to foster genuine connections to people before and after his music started to gain traction. He always had star quality. Everyone from the most important person in the room to a janitor walking through would be drawn to him. And he'd engage with everyone in a way that really stuck. She always mentions that he was just a really sincere, deeply felt person. A close family friend was best friends with Tom Cruise before he got famous. I didn't believe her and she showed me pictures they have taken together, like a Vegas road trip, camping, etc. He was really awesome, but as soon as he got an ounce of fame it went to his head and he became very arrogant and a fame whore. Don't forget a cultist. Not personally, but everyone in my town has a Dave Chappelle story. I worked with a guy who said he knew him. I called BS. We then met Dave and they were actually friends. Basically no one in town thought he would be much. Now he is a local hero, really down to earth. You literally see this man just chilling in the park in normal cheap clothes. Nothing has changed. Hi monsieur, you wouldn't think he was famous. Maybe homeless but not famous. Family friend of mine actually dated Kurt Cobain before Ms. Love. Apparently they broke up because he wouldn't get a job. Then a little while later he got famous. Can't finish the question for obvious reasons. I remember that story. He wrote about a girl, for her to stop being mad on his unemployment. Greater than Kurt Cobain wrote this for his girlfriend at the time, Tracy Miranda. They lived together for a while, and she took the photo that's on the album cover. Miranda didn't know the song was about her until she read about it years later in the book Come As You Are. The story of Nirvana. Greater than, according to Chad Channing, who was Nirvana's drummer at the time. Cobain didn't have a title for this song when he brought it to the studio. Chad told Songfacts, I remember we were rehearsing the song not long before we went in and recorded the record. Bleach. Kurt was just playing the song and we were working it out. I asked Kurt what the song was. And Kurt was like, well, I don't really know. And then I said, well, what's it about? And he says, it's about a girl. And I said, well, why don't you just call it About a Girl? And he just kind of looked at me and smiled and said, okay. We went with that. I love these kinds of stories. Jack Black is the same person he was as a teenager. Funny, kind, caring, and spreading that joy of music. Chris Hemsworth and his brother Liam, both really good blokes before and after they became famous. My friend in high school's cousin is Kendrick Lamar. He says he's pretty much still the same guy. Acts the same around friends and family. Just with millions of dollars now. My aunt was best friends with Madonna in high school, stayed friends until she got famous, and she turned into a completely different person in the worst way possible. My best friend is cousins with Tyler Posey. She said he was a sweetheart before his Teen Wolf days and he still is now. That makes me so happy. When I was younger I was obsessed with that show and it's nice to know he's genuinely a great guy. I once knew a musician named Neil Cole who was put under a lot of pressure by his record label. He became who you would now know as Neil Diamond. I knew Tom Holland at the time he did the Tsunami movie. We were not really friends, but he was so funny and friendly. greater than it's important not to make Spider-Man masculine because he's a kid. As soon as you make him masculine, it's harder to relate to him if you are younger and are in high school. I definitely was not masculine in high school. Greater than Tom Holland. He is just so pure and almost perfect for the Spider-Man role. I DK what it is about Tom Holland, but I swear there's something about him that just triggers every mothering instinct in my entire being every time I see him on TV, YouTube, or in movies. There's this drive to wanting to put a sweater on him, cook and feed him food, wipe his face with a tissue and tell him to get good grades, stay away from fast girls or boys, don't do drugs, make him go to mass, and offer him some quarters for the arcade. My own children should be jealous because this absolute stranger is my favorite child. My sister has a friend that's cousins with The Weeknd. From what my sister told me, he doesn't attend large family gatherings as much. Apparently some relatives only want to ask him questions in regards to his fame and whatnot. I'm not sure if that meant they ask him for favors, but it must get annoying either way. It must suck to be around family and not be your regular old self. At the same time, it must be hard for his relatives to see him as the same guy before he got famous. I'm not saying that they shouldn't try, but people are naturally weird and awkward. It's just another shitty part about being famous. And I'm sure he's not the only celebrity that's gone through this. Was it the cousin that tried to take a selfie at his grandma's funeral? Edit, wrong word. Cousin lol. This was the exact verse I thought of. Need a serious tag. I wish serious was the default and comedy was the tag to add if you wanted humorous answers. Although Reddit would still try its hardest to be the funniest guy in the room, monsieur. I've said this before, it's the thing I hate most about Reddit. I want a serious discussion on something that sounds like an awesome topic to explore, and the top answer is some average, at best, joke upvoted to oblivion, and then of course all you see are all the responses to the funny guy, and either the real conversation never gets on track or it's impossible to locate. I met Noah Centineo when he was in Austin, an ally, so that was a little before he started becoming big. I don't know him very well, although he did once babysit me, haha, but I more so know his mom, as she is one of my mom's closest friends. My mom does still see Noah sometimes and says he hasn't really changed, and that he comes to his mom's events sure says something. Still a sweet gentleman. Peace. Kelly Centineo, though, I do know well. She is amazing. My mom dated Will Ferrell for a little while. He came round quite a lot and she said he was real down to earth and incredibly funny. However, afterwards they really just lost touch. So we never got to know how he personally changed. My mom says she's still like used to be. My mom and dad still laugh about her dating Hi Monsieur. I knew Mike Jones before his record deal. Back then hoes didn't want Hi Monsieur, then he became hot and they were all on Hi Monsieur. Who? Mike Jones. I had an English teacher who went to school with Kanye West. She claimed he was a lame, which honestly doesn't seem to be a secret, as many rappers are seen as outcast before they come up. But the way in which she said it was as if she was still popular and he was still lame, lol. Decent English teacher, I suppose, but possessed none of other qualities a good teacher should have. She actually laughed as someone roasted my hairline. How bad is your hairline? Lol, I'd decay if it was my head shape or my barber. But my lineup was always rounded. We're good now for sure though, full score. It wasn't that bad, but any flaw could have been roasting material in that class. It was all we did, tbh. Leon Bridges' ego is now a lot bigger. Still the same nice guy though. Issa Rae, still the same. Really down to earth, just more skeptical of people and their motives. I dated a UFC world champion of his class and he's so full of himself now and treats people as if they're disposable. Can't say his name as may give away who I am. Fuck, I watch so much MMA and I desperately wanna know who you're talking ap, lol. Most fighters are seen as humble and down-to-earth, so it's nice when we get to shine a spotlight on the pieces of shit. Will you at least tell me if he fought above or below 170 pounds? At least we can rule out Henry Cejudo lol. I went to high school with Dacre Montgomery. He was a dick with a huge ego in high school, and I saw him recently when he came back to his home town, and seems like he's still a dick with an even bigger ego now. I can't watch Stranger Things without rolling my eyes every time he comes on screen. I dance battled the guy who is currently dating Madonna a couple times. He is an amazing battle dancer, and I lost every single time. What is battle dancing? My brother knows the guy that Squidward was based off of. Turns out that made him more bitter cause he was made fun of. The floor creaks, the summers are brutal, and there's a giant man-eating clam in the backyard. I played drums with Mike Portnoy in high school band, and I'm still friends with his sister, and he is still a cool guy. West Auckland Kiwi who went to school with Daniel Logan. I know, not that famous. Paging our prequel memes for backup. All the way from new entrants and through several years of high school. Even did drama with the guy. He was a little shit at primary school. But really, who wasn't? He got pretty arrogant, insufferable at high school off the back of AOTC. I don't know him well at all nowadays, but I'm under the impression he's chilled out and is basically milking the pop culture convention scene. Don't think he's really done much else other than satisfied George Lucas' urge for the vets to be a little exotic. His clones are impressive. He must be very proud. Can't wait to listen to these replies on YouTube. I went to middle school with Hunter Schafer, trans woman on Euphoria with Zendaya, and it was before she transitioned. She was 2 years older than me, but she always had a lot of friends, especially for an outgoing gay kid in North Carolina, and everyone seemed to like her. My brother knew her better and said she was always incredibly nice. She only ever said 3 words to me, but I hung out with one of her sisters once. Pretty cool, I guess. 2 friends of mine both got famous, one more than the other. One took it in stride and really didn't change much besides driving nicer cars and wearing better suits. He's still a solid dude and we stay in touch. The other one really committed to the whole public image deal, and I'm a bit dirty to be associated with, I guess, because we knew each other back in my hustling days. I think the fame got to him, gave him too big of a head. He also is all about how God is responsible for all my success image, and that is lame in my opinion. I guess God just doesn't like all the other actors grinding out there. And I know plenty better than him who aren't famous. Or maybe I'm just jealous. My grandmother met Donald Trump years ago in a bar, I have no way of telling if this is true or not, but she has decent memory for her age, and 2 of her sisters confirmed it before their Alzheimer's. Anyway, according to her, he was a misogynistic asshole and called her sister a whore. She has no reason to lie, and other than that one encounter she doesn't mind him. So whatever. Let grandma be grandma. So, nothing has changed. Good to know that fame didn't change. Hi monsieur. My aunt had dinner with Keanu Reeves and other people before he did Matrix when he came to Spain. She said that Keanu was very handsome and incredibly polite. He radiates this even from the distance. What a wholesome man. Not an interesting story. And this person isn't even _celebrity per se. She is currently a local councilor _ Hard to explain the political hierarchy, but it's basically like a subordinate of the city's mayor. City is divided into wards. Each ward is headed by a councilor _ of my place. In brief, she's kinda a political hotshot with big influence. Before all this, she used to be my mom's friend. Their offices were in the same area, so they traveled by the same bus every day for over 10 years. They grew to be friends. We've even gone for dinner at her house multiple times. After she became a hotshot, it's like she doesn't even know us. We once had a water crisis in our area for a few days. Going to the municipality was futile, so the entire neighborhood went to appeal her as she was the counselor. My mom was one of the people at the forefront since she knew her, but she pretended not to know my mother. When mom reminded her, the reply was underscore. Oh, yes, I remember underscore with a fake smile. In the end, we got back water after a week, but it wasn't due to any part by her. Aw man, I've been such a huge fan of local counselor. Sucks to hear they're not as cool as I thought they were. Sounds like Eagleton really got to her. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.